everybody, Tim W. Rago here, Games, Moves, and Vlogs. How the hell is everybody? And before I go any further with this video, you'll hear that some weird audio thing in the background. I apologize for that in advance here, because sadly you're going to be hearing that through this entire video. But just try to at least ignore it. But anyways, I am joined here by fellow creature fanatic, whose username should really be Kentucky Fried Kaiju, but it ain't.
Hi, what's up? My name is FaveSlayer202.
Yeah, exactly. Really should be Kentucky Fried Kaiju, but alright. Like, Kentucky Fried Gigan, basically.
Hell, in the wiki page, I'm also known as Chainsaw Gigan, so in April I'll change my name to Kentucky Fried Gigan.
Well, because, you know, Gigan's always called the Space Chicken. He has this nickname called the Space Chicken. And speaking of Gigan, the reason...
I get compared to a chicken a lot, so yeah, that would work for me.
And speaking of Gigan...
But anyways, let's get to this annoying YouTuber, which all of you have heard.
Yep.
You all seen it, and I think it's time for us to basically discuss how this guy lies, gets everything wrong, and as well as basically uses AI crap.
Yeah, exactly. Now, for those who don't know, a little while back, I think it was like, when did the video come out? Like a few weeks ago now? Well, it's been like 3 weeks?
Maybe a few weeks or a few months.
But,
I think it would have been months.
But, this guy named Doktor Skipper, came out with this video literally titled, "Why Godzilla Does Not Work in America." Already the title alone makes you look at it and go like, wait, what the fuck, how? And this whole thing is 26 minutes, mind you. I'm gonna tell all y'all this right now.
Nearly half an hour.
Yeah, of listening to this guy, and I only sat through it once. For this video, I only sat through it one time. Kentucky Gigan over here. How many times did you say you sat through it?
Maybe 20 or more.
Because
I made, like, for God's sake, we basically worked on it, like making like points and references to write down. I wrote down like 32. You wrote down like what, less than me?
I 20. I got to 20. I watched this whole thing. I only got like 20. And the first point that I want to...
You're a lucky son of a bitch.
Yeah, the first thing that I want to point out is the fact that, you know, the dude... He said this at the wrong time, in all honesty. Like, at the beginning of the video, he should have said this, but no, he says it like 10 minutes in, or almost 10 minutes into the video. He goes, "Oh, I should let you guys know I'm not a Godzilla fan." Then why the fuck are you making a video about him?
But even though further into the video, he talks about like the reason he made it was because of Godzilla -1, and I'm like,
yeah,
why didn't you talk about Godzilla -1 only?
Yeah, he says that
like, you didn't need to refer to the other kaiju movies in the past. Just talk about -1, goddammit.
Yeah, he literally says that the only Godzilla movies he likes is 1954 and -1. Like, and he literally even says that the rest of them are shit. Really?
Yeah,
he just
98% of them.
98% of the franchise is shit. Like, he disregarded everything. Yeah. He completely disregarded pretty much all of Godzilla at that point.
Like the Hey Satan series, the Millennium series,
the rest of the Showa era.
No, even as well. And like, it's ironic because he uses footage from the Hey Satan series.
He did, yeah,
well,
I remember that.
Like DMK, Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 2, and so many others.
And yet he says that like 98% of the franchise is shit besides 54 and -1 here.
Cash grab.
And yeah, he says, well, to be perfectly honest, like, even Raids Again was a literal cash grab of a movie because it got rushed into production and came out 6 months after 54. So it was Godzilla's not a complete cash grab, but there was like 2 movies that I know of that are cash grabs. Revenge and Raids Again they're literal cash grabs.
But as well as including in bad movies, they even told a story like Godzilla's Revenge about a kid standing up for himself. Like
they did, yeah. At least with that, they're cash grabs, but they're cash grabs that had a little bit of passion in them.
Godzilla movie, like every Godzilla movie told a different story. Like
they do,
what?
Yeah.
Just because you're watching this for like giant monster fight? No, it's different. Like you have to look into plots, like even including the Showa eras.
Yeah, even the Showa era with Godzilla sliding on his tail and kicking Megalon straight on. Yeah. Besides that,
as well as Mothra versus Godzilla, which it did have a message in there as well
about corporate bullshit, about corporate greed. Yeah, that whole movie was about corporate greed.
And also the guy, he was easily the bad guy because of his Hitler stash.
Yeah, the character Komayama, yeah, he straight up had he even admitted he was an asshole. Like he walks on and has the whole like hands in his front pockets and shit, all dressed nice, and he claims he's the great entrepreneur or some shit like that. That he bought the egg for like 150,000 yen. Like he's an asshole.
Yeah, like every Showa movie, including some of the ones where Godzilla was a good guy, they did tell a story, but at least did something different with him.
Yeah, exactly. 'Cause it sounded like DS, because I'm not saying his whole name, but it sounded like his video literally just... It sounded like he just wanted every single Godzilla movie to be like a carbon copy of 54 and -1, just with another monster.
As well as basically, like, even when people have done different, like the Heisei era and the Showa era, as well as even the Millennium era,
yeah,
he complains about it.
And he also complains about this is where now him saying that he wasn't a Godzilla fan to begin with, like when he said that, it kind of reminded me of Roland Emmerich admitting that he wasn't a Godzilla fan, but at least Roland Emmerich came out with something good. At least Roland Emmerich, actually, he admitted he wasn't a Godzilla fan, but he made something fun and watchable.
I would say it's popcorn entertainment, but not a Godzilla movie. Like, at least it's a fun monster movie,
exactly.
I would say.
Like, at least Roland Emmerich made some content that was actually watchable and fun for somebody saying that they weren't a fan of Godzilla. But DS, man, he just... The one thing that got me the most was him making trash of the MonsterVerse. Like, he completely shredded the Goji in that. Like, him saying that, like, Godzilla in the MonsterVerse, there's this one thing that he goes on to say that, that he's only sticking up for America, hence, and fuck everybody else, which is why every other city gets wrecked in the MonsterVerse, but not America. Like, dude, have you not seen Godzilla vs. Kong? He completely atomic breathed Florida, for crying out, like a coastal city in Florida, for crying out loud.
As well as in King of the Monsters, where he just nuclear bombed everything to kill Ghidorah. In
Boston. Yeah, he literally nuked Boston to get rid of Ghidorah, and then had San Francisco as a wrestling ring with the 2 Mutos.
Yeah.
And then on top of that decided that the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco was a thing, like, get the fuck out of the way. Like, he just walked through the bridge when the military was shooting at him. So it's like, dude, seriously? Like, the way he thinks Godzilla is, and I do mean emphasis on thinks, is that he thinks Godzilla, like, whichever version is made, only sticks up for that country. He does not understand MonsterVerse Godzilla at all. He does not understand that animal's personality. Like, that version of Goji is that he literally, it's like how Kurt Russell says it in, it's like how Aldershaw says it in Legacy of Monsters. You know, Godzilla's trying to keep his kind in their world and us in ours. And DS does not understand that at all.
As well as, like, the original... we all know that the MonsterVerse is basically, like, the Godzilla 94, just... you know, like, the pieces of 94 was put into the MonsterVerse Godzilla in 2014 as... Godzilla is this force of nature that evolved and gained the ability to consume radiation and to defend the planet from earthly or extraterrestrial monsters that would destroy the world.
Yeah, exactly. Like how the Mutos were potential planet destroyers had they been allowed to spawn.
Reproduce.
Yeah, had they been allowed to do that. And Ghidorah was a literal planet destroyer by himself. Ghidorah was a literal planet destroyer. And then you had Mechagodzilla, who was a monster, who was a Titan hunter. So... and
it's all even more funny where he just thinks that the Mutos are a representation of Japan, and...
Yeah, where the fuck did he... Which Titan's ass did he pull that out of? Did he pull it out of Behemoth's ass, or did he pull it out of, Rodan or some shit? Like, whose asshole did he pull that out of? Like, just because the Mutos originated from Japan doesn't mean that they're a representation of Japan.
They were from the Philippines.
Oh, yeah, the male was anyway. They don't explain where the female's from.
I thought it was from the same spore, but they transferred it somewhere.
They literally said that they found two separate spores in the Philippines, and one of them got transferred to here in Nevada, surprisingly, to the fucking Yucca Mountain nuclear repository. But how does they represent Japan? That's the thing that screws me up, is that how are the Mutos representing Japan when one of them trashes Vegas? Like when one of them trashes my hometown of Las Vegas. That ain't representing shit. That's just, oh, hey, I woke up. There's a city in the way. I'ma just stroll on through it and, oh, shit, I'm wrecking everything.
Like, even as well as, like, the Mutos were much more of a bigger threat because of their reproductive cycles, which, you know, they would have created more, and that would just cause a societal collapse.
Yeah, they explain that I think in Aftershock they explain that with Muto Prime. They explain that when had the Mutos been able to reproduce, they would have taken over they would have easily conquered a lot of different environments up here, and one of them would have been the next Muto Prime, which would have been worse. But how they represent Japan makes no fucking sense. How Dia says they represent Japan makes no fucking sense.
Like, as well as like his idea of like people wanted a Godzilla movie, but they got a Godzilla movie where people complained it was too serious, and then when they turned into Looney Tunes, I'm like. By the way, I have problems with 2014, but at least I got the message. Like, it hadn't Godzilla being big, it even shown the size, using the weight, as well as even the strong representation where he's literally just a balance for nature.
Yeah, exactly, and there's this other thing that he says where what do you call? He goes on to... I can't believe I'm having to explain this, because even I can't fucking explain it, because the video's a fucking... Put it this way, folks, this video, the Asylum is better than this. This is the kind of shit where...
I sadly agree with you right there.
Literally, honest to Christ, I would rather sit through a Sharknado movie than this, and I actually happen to love Sharknado. But still, I would rather watch that than this shit, than this fucking thing.
Like, the editing doesn't help. Like,
no, it
when you
didn't.
try to watch it, you get a headache. You get a headache when you see this. And then I had to flip my phone over and just listen to what he's saying, and literally half of it is mostly bullshit.
Oh no, dude! I watched this. I watched it on my phone, so I had to sit through.
It's entirely bullshit.
No, I watched it.
Like,
No, I watched it on my phone, and dude, I got not even 5 minutes in, and already I was already exhausted. 5 minutes into this fucking thing, and I'm like, I can't believe I have to watch this. And then I had to look. I'm like, how long is this? 26. I looked 26 minutes. I'm like, fuck.
It took me like 3 minutes to basically say fuck this, until when I came back, I'm like, okay, what the hell is it? Like, that's what I said. Like, 3 minutes, I'm like, fuck this.
Yeah, that
Like,
I almost shut it off. I literally almost shut it off.
That was when he said that only. That was when he said that 98% of them sucked ass, and I'm like, okay, that's it.
That
But
you know,
then I
that's
had to
actually
listen to
that
it.
actually is what got me curious to. As much as I hate this thing, that's what got me curious to keep watching it. Surprisingly, when he said 98% of the franchise sucked, I'm like, okay, how? So I wanted to hear how, but. No, he praises the living fuck out of 54 and
He
minus
does the
1.
Jurassic Park comparison, which
Oh
makes no
yeah,
sense.
that too. He did this weird fucking comparison to JP. I'm like, bitch. I'm thinking in my head like, bitch, why? Why would you compare? Look, I understand that in the timeline from the Showa and Heisei eras, and minus 1 as well, that Godzilla is a dinosaur. I get that, but making the JP comparison made no, oh my god, made no fucking sense.
Like, half of me would say it's because of the overuse of CGI in there, which, honestly, I have no problem with the CGI thing. It's just that I'm not getting into it. It's just that comparing it to Jurassic Park makes no sense. I mean,
It
yes,
doesn't.
of
Like,
course,
Godzilla's a fucking
I mean, like,
monster
yes,
movie.
Godzilla. Like, yeah, Godzilla is CGI, but except he can also even be a character that tells a story. Like, again, Godzilla represents nature.
Yeah, and
Whereas
then him saying that, like, oh, he like represents the part that kind of pissed me off actually was I think it was like towards the end of the video when he says like, oh, that the Monster vs. Godzilla like glorifies America and the American military and how like you never see the American military lose in movies. They always like do this whole thing with victory and shit like that. And then I'm sitting there thinking, does he not realize how much Godzilla in the Monsterverse gets his ass beat like every damn movie? He gets his ass handed to him.
As well as in the military and previous scripts and before it became 2014, the military was incompetent and they had to rely on Godzilla because they were powerless against the Mutos.
Yeah, exactly. They even went as far as try doing the whole like nuke all three of the nuke Godzilla and the Mutos, but the Mutos were smart enough to know that, oh hey, there's radiation in these things, and they steal them. A giant monster, a parasite even, steals a nuke. The fact that I can say that, the fact that that's a thing, a giant prehistoric parasite steals a nuke.
Yeah, even though when they lay eggs, which remind me of 98, but yeah, they're basically like, they're literally them part of the problem, and yet Skipper says they're vilified for no reason. I'm like, did you not listen to the movie? They could reproduce and wouldn't cause like a Stone Age event.
Exactly, and hell, even Joe Brody even says that in the movie itself. He literally says, and it's going to send us back to the Stone Age.
Yeah, the memorable line from the trailer, it's like, it was better for them to die than to everyone nearly be extinct.
Yeah, exactly, and then also Muto Prime came up like right after that. like right after that fight, like not even 3 months later.
But it's not into a movie. I mean, it's not into a movie or even televised yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yet, and I haven't.
Well, I mean,
I haven't seen Legacy of Monsters, so hopefully they mention her in there, or if a new season, I don't know.
Well, the reason why I'm bringing that up is because it's like, when it comes to the MonsterVerse, like, in book form, they're all, like, every one of them is connected. Like, in book form, every book from comic to movie novel actually explains everything.
As well as even into the book form where nature needs to be, or let nature take its course, like Godzilla Awakening, which is one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, like, the very beginning of the MonsterVerse is Godzilla Awakening. Like, that's what started it.
Yeah, as well as like with the Shinimuras as well, where they were very invasive.
Yeah, they were, and they said they're like a colony. They're like multiple little,
like a starfish, where if you cut one of them, they would just grow into another one.
Yeah, exactly, and also the fact that they were kind of like shapeshifters a little bit. The bigger they got, the different shapes they took. Like at one point, a Shinomura was like walking on two legs, and then it got bigger and started getting the ability to fly at one point.
And this also even gives me the reminder, the Heisei series also even did something like that, where, I mean, in the Showa era, Godzilla did come to terms of what he is and being a part of nature, as well as in the Heisei series, where Godzilla he's defending Earth as well, because it's his home. Oh yeah, no, he's defending. No, the thing with Godzilla is that he said, no, I'll defend Earth, but fuck you, fuck humanity. Like I love how in the movies they always say, even Dr. Serizawa says this, that like Godzilla fought for humanity and shit like that, and I'm sitting there thinking like, dude, you're the best character in this movie, but Godzilla don't give a shit about humans. He does not care. Godzilla doesn't give a damn about people. He does not care. And stuff like that.
Wait, what?
I thought it was Madison who said stuff like that into Godzilla versus Kong or something like that, where I'm like, no, he only did that to stop an Earth-ending dragon that would have killed him as well if Ghidorah got in his way. Yeah, but it's overall, folks, like, this guy just doesn't understand who Godzilla is. Like, you can see what he is, but this dude didn't understand who he is. And by the way, let me answer a question with a question. Where would Godzilla be if the nuclear allegory theme keeps reappearing after every movie? Oh, it would be boring as fuck. I'll even admit that. It would be dead. It would be dead. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the bits of the film franchise where Godzilla is taken serious. I actually do appreciate that as like a reference to 54 and later this last year and -1 here, but the thing is like, Godzilla is a very multiverse kind of character. Like, you put him in any he's a superhero. You put him in any situation and you enjoy it, no matter how silly it gets. Like, not only that, he's versatile. You can do whatever you want. And like, hell, for much of the shit as like Shin Godzilla or the anime trilogy and Single Point get, they didn't use Godzilla differently. In each iteration they did, like, when you do the anime trilogy universe Singular Point in Shin, like in Shin, he's a literal abomination. Reptilian. Yeah, he's this fucked up whatever he is, doesn't know who he is, what he is. Godzilla doesn't know who he is in that movie at all. He's just like, I just showed up. Who the fuck is this? What the hell is that? How can I do this? In that movie. Wait, what? Considering in the movie where his own origins are that of Hedorah and Destroyer. Yeah, like he was a small little water creature, and then nuclear waste turned him into this
hideous looking thing. Oh my god. Shin is the ugliest Godzilla I've ever seen. He is ugly. I never thought...
Like the quote-unquote ultimate life form who can evolve from anything.
Yeah, you know, I never thought Godzilla could be hideous until Shin came out. I never knew Godzilla could be ugly. I never knew Godzilla could be hideous. He is ugly in that movie. Like, good God, he's ugly and he's disgusting. I never thought Godzilla can hit that level. Honest to God, I never thought Godzilla can really hit that level of creature film, but man, TOHO whipped that out of their ass, they whipped Shin out of their ass, and it's a great fucking movie.
Yeah, and like literally, the people are there to basically get the progress rolling, as well as to provide the solution. Now, there's the anime trilogy where Godzilla is a hyper-evolved plant-based life form with the metallic skin or something.
Yeah, actually, the thing about the anime trilogy is that the weird thing about that, after I binged on them a couple years back, they take what humanity would do, the 3 stages of what humanity would do in the face of a disaster, and they just applied that to Godzilla, which it had like those 2 different ideas, and it just like the result was kind of the movies could have been better. Not gonna lie, it's just they could have done so much. They could have done a lot better with those
ideas,
movies.
But a bad payoff.
Especially with, honestly, Planet Eater's the best out of those 3, not gonna lie. Planet Eater's honestly the best one out of that, not gonna lie, because City on the Edge of Battle was like, we were promised Mechagodzilla.
It was the same thing as the first movie.
It was, but except they included Mechagodzilla in it, kinda.
Yeah, like literally, it was all a lie, just used Mechagodzilla as a city. And also, even in Singular Point, where Godzilla is a dimensional deity.
I know, that's the weird thing. That's the weird thing about this character. He has been a symbol for World War II, a symbol for war. He's been a symbol for nukes, a symbol for war, a superhero.
A chia pet.
A what?
He was also a chia pet in the anime trilogy.
A what now?
He was a plant.
Yeah, he was basically Groot, a pissed off dinosaur Groot. And then in Shin, he was an abomination. He was a straight up mutated, fucked up abomination, whatever he is. And then you have the Monsterverse where he's a giant Permian era fire spitting lizard, basically. And then you have Singular Point, which he's this interdimensional red dust carrying thing. Oh my god. Like, when you try to explain Godzilla and you try to explain the different lore, he has so much lore, it's not even funny. Like, you talk about multiverse, he has so many backstories, it's not even funny. So, and trying to explain that, try explaining Godzilla is just... It's really hard to do. And DS he didn't explain shit, hardly.
Yeah, he just thinks that America was the reason of Godzilla being different and weirdly viewed or even hated, which I'm like, no, Godzilla was never hated. And the show, like, TOHO basically made Godzilla a hero, and then they decided to do something different where he's an anti-hero, a villain who is a plant, a villain who is basically Hedorah and Destroyer, and as well as an interdimensional monster.
Yeah, see, that's the whole thing.
Each of these incarnations can work.
Within that whatever respective timeline that they're in, whatever timeline that he's in. But DS just, I mean, don't get me wrong, when it comes to a Godzilla movie, and it's mainly kaiju films in general, yes, you mainly do want to get to the monster scenes. Like, that, quite literally, that's why a lot of people really watch these movies to begin with. But at the same time, as you're waiting for... But
not only that, there's also compelling stories into them, like GMK, which he used in one of his footage with like saying, "Oh, Godzilla, he's fighting bugs," and I'm like, how would you feel if I compare Batman by saying he's a rich douchebag who wears a bat costume and only fights crime, or no, beats up bad guys?
Yeah, exactly.
How would you feel if I said that?
Yeah, but then, well, that's pretty much what Batman is, but then if you really actually give a damn to look into it, you'll realize that there are certain reasons why he does shit, why he does that.
Yeah, as well as, like, the Heisei eras, like, Godzilla's the Heisei era films are about man's temperament on the environment.
They are. They really are. The Heisei films pretty much are that.
Yeah, and even into the Millennium, they use them very differently. And one of my favorites of the Millennium ones had to be Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, where they even discuss about the soul of the dead within a robotic being.
Well, that was in Tokyo SOS. They talked about that. That was in Tokyo SOS. They went a little more in detail with that. They went a little more in detail about that, and then in Against Mechagodzilla, they did mention that because of the fact that Robo-G in that movie is 1954 resurrected. No joke, resurrected as a Terminator, as a straight up Terminator, as Terminator Zilla basically. So, and also you want to talk about weird multiverse Godzilla? Look at Megaguirus. Look at Megaguirus. The fact that in Megaguirus, they think the way to get rid of Godzilla, and for those who have not seen that movie, go watch it. As I'm explaining this to you people.
They thought about getting rid of him with a black hole gun where...
A gun that shoots black holes. Think about the scientific defying all logic that could exist by creating a cannon that is attached to a satellite and shoots black holes. Seriously.
I mean, this is also interesting. Like, this is also even in the same movie where Godzilla does a WWE move, like the body slam.
Oh yeah, then he jumps in the air, and even Megaguirus' eyes, like the puppetry in the eyes, like her eyes widen, like what the fuck? Like she looks up at him like shit. Oh, and then Godzilla tried to bite her. Remember Godzilla tried to bite her in that scene, and Megaguirus is like, "Nah, fuck this," and she hurries up and gets out from under her.
In fact, even Megaguirus is the representation of nature as well, where the monster fights, they actually get the metaphors across.
Oh my god, the fact that Megaguirus, oh my god, her origin is just as goofy as Godzilla's counterplan, as the Godzilla counterplan. They test the black hole gun, but somehow, and we get no explanation for this, somehow open a wormhole to 300 million years ago where Meganeuras come through. Like, the movie doesn't explain that. It doesn't explain shit. It just happens.
Like even where, as well as even Dr. Skipper goes through such pointless shit about this shitty 101 history of imperialist Japan, how King Kong was made.
Well, no, King Kong he kind of did get right. There's some little bits when it comes to King Kong, he actually got that little part of the history right. And that he kind of got right.
And even saying, like, TOHO with the Zero Honda were making propaganda movies, like...
They were.
54.
Oh, well, actually, no. That I did look up. TOHO actually was making... They were making war films, and they weren't getting distributed much because the U.S. at the time put censorships on the Japanese film industry, so they weren't allowed to make those kinds of movies. So Eiichiro Honda, through literally, and I ain't kidding about this, watch Big Action Bill's history of Godzilla 1954 for more explanation on this. They literally...
Yeah, I mean, even like the guy DS actually mentions the guy, but doesn't even learn from him.
Yeah, exactly. So, and literally, the reason why Godzilla even existed in the first place, this is actually hilarious. He exists because Ishiro Honda wanted to make a serious nuclear allegory World War II movie, so he threw in Godzilla to disguise the movie as a monster movie to get around the censorship. Godzilla existed as bullshit, basically.
As well as even Doktor Skipper saying, like, it should have talked more about how America basically caused Godzilla, and I'm like, the movie was about... Yeah, it's like, the movie was about explaining the actual dangers of nuclear weapons.
Yeah, which 54 goes heavily into about how...
even Godzilla in the movie is one of the reasons why he's a violent antagonist in that movie, which that also went to Godzilla -1 as well.
Yeah, especially when they physically show Godzilla getting hit with radiation. Like, they show that close-up of his face and his face getting burned up, and then you see him later on in the movie and he's really aggressive.
In fact, while he complains about Godzilla being like this hero thing, guess what? Ishiro Honda, who made the first Godzilla movie, actually helped make the one where Godzilla was a hero, like Terror of Mechagodzilla is one of them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, that movie. What? Yeah, Godzilla with the most badass Showa... I don't care what anyone says. The best Showa-era entrance for Godzilla is in Terror of Mechagodzilla. Seeing him... Seeing him, like, revealed in the light with his dorsal fins flashing, with his theme song playing, that was great. That was a great fucking entrance.
Money shot. Like, that's the hero shot right there.
Exactly. And it's like, I'm sorry, but also, why even... Oh my God, I'm sorry, folks, we do go off on tangents here, but hey, we're kaiju fans, and we talk about whatever the fuck we want to, so who gives a shit?
Like, yeah, but like, why make a video if you're gonna say, like, you're not a Godzilla fan, and you're only doing this for -1? I'm like, just do -1.
Exactly. Just talk about that.
Bullshit.
Yeah, just do a movie review on Godzilla -1 if that's mainly what you're talking about.
Like, literally, I mean, even elderly people who once thought that Godzilla was just a goofy concept because of Godzilla versus Megalon back then. I mean, hell, even the movie theaters, there was, like, actual people who were elderly even watched it when me and my friend Michael went into theaters, and they actually liked it.
The thing is that Godzilla, he does work. It's just the fact. Also, one stupid thing I want to bring up, I know this is probably insignificant, but I gotta talk about this from a design standpoint. His thumbnail is poorly made. I'm sorry. That thumbnail is ridiculous. I don't know why I'm bringing this up, but just the thumbnail alone makes you wonder, like, did he even try? Because you have the American flag in the background, -1 Goji in the foreground, with the Japanese Imperial flag of all things, not the current one. Wait, that's the Imperial flag, right? I didn't want to sound like an idiot. That's the red circle.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, but he had
I'm sorry. It's just like,
I don't even know what flag that was, but it's just like, if you just wanted to say Godzilla does not work in America, just have Godzilla with the red circle over him with the American flag in the background. Why put the Japanese flag next to him? That doesn't make any sense. From a design standpoint, that thumbnail alone makes no sense. Neither does this video. And also, folks, if you notice that this whole thing is just like the slideshow of this, well, the reason why I'm doing this is because, well, it's more watchable. It's a lot more watchable here.
Yeah, and as well as we don't know how to do like actual showing of our faces and that, but still, it's better to prefer this than preferring whatever the hell Doktor Skipper was basically doing with the over editing.
Doktor Skipper. Yeah.
What if he's literally not gonna do any well put videos on actual stuff of Godzilla instead of just basically making up whatever shit comes up in his mind in his AI feed, then why the hell should I be nice to him?
Actually, you know what? That's actually more polite than what I thought you were gonna say. But okay.
Like literally, he's one of the people who help bring up others who say like Godzilla can't work, we can't have both, or saying there's Godzilla problem in America. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
And also,
and I'm
you know,
and also
what doesn't. And he says like, oh, Godzilla doesn't work in America. Have you not seen GVK? That was so far the most financially successful MonsterVerse movie. Yes, Godzilla works in America. Give me a break. And then also -1 was very popular here in the U.S. Like, it made, like, on a very low budget, when you look at -1, you never know it was a low-budget movie.
Oh, and that also reminds me of him saying, like, the reason Godzilla -1 was so low was because, like, it wasn't because that the actual Japanese film industries are so underpaid. It's just that because they had to be pro-military or some fucking shit. I don't know.
Pro-military. Man, the military ain't really even in that movie. There's... Oh my god, there's like no military anything in that film. Like, they use military veterans, they use discharged military, like ex-military, but there's no... Like, there's like one scene with like tanks, and that's it. They use like tanks in one battleship or so. There's like barely any military at all in -1.
Like literally, just inputting what you think was made, like how Godzilla -1 was made. It's just another. Like, for example, it wasn't made with $15 million, was it? They said
that was
million?
That
no,
was
it
what
was even more lower than that.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I read too. That the budget was even lower than $15 million.
Like, their movie industries and other shit are so underpaid. Like, there's no union that which would actually be more high profit in that. Like,
yeah, but hey, the
comparing our movie industry with the Japanese one, it's fucking pointless. It makes no fucking sense.
But what's even crazier is the fact that the Japanese film industry may have some flaws, and yet Godzilla -1 was nominated for an Academy Award for visual effects. So for a low-budget ass movie, it literally managed to get a really high standard. It actually hit a seriously high honor. And it's because of the fact that it was over here in the... Well, not because of the fact, but a little chunk of the fact that it was over here in the U.S. and people were flocking to theaters to go see it. I mean, flocking. Yeah. The amount of money that movie made over here was insane. Like, that movie made a fuck ton of money at the box office.
Yeah, and like, he compares the MonsterVerse ones with other bullshit like Thor: Love and
Thunder. Oh, Thor: Love and Thunder. I don't know why he would even make that comparison.
MODOK,
oh my god.
as like MODOK, even Kenobi, which they're all doing this because they want you to basically give them your money and basically not attempt at writing. And like,
well, when it comes to, well, I've never seen any of the Star Wars Disney Plus shows, nor have I seen Thor: Love and Thunder. I haven't seen none of that shit, so
those movies suck.
I did read that Thor: Love and Thunder is like probably the worst MCU movie ever made.
It's from one of those directors who said in a tweet, "I can ruin all of your favorite things in one movie."
Oh yeah, and he even said that he didn't care about the fan base either. He even admitted he didn't give a shit about the fan base for the MCU.
Exactly, and plus, I even think he compared like the game Halo, which I'm like, why didn't you insert the TV show where the creators did the exact same thing as the creators of Teen Titans Go, not seeing or playing the games?
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, fuck Teen Titans Go. I'm sorry. Fuck that show. Oh my god. No, never
like,
bring up Teen Titans Go ever.
Like all these weird comparisons to the
to God, and he keeps comparing them to Godzilla. Like, dude, they're in totally different genres. Like, they have nothing to do with Goji.
Take it from me. I'm a critic of Godzilla 2014 and heavily on Godzilla vs. Kong, but it was never reduced to Godzilla sucks because he is in America. No. It's more complicated in my criticism than that. Like I said, with Doktor Skipper here, he just literally thinks that, he literally thinks that just because we do it, it won't work. But if Japan does it, and they know what to do with it. And I'm like...
And that doesn't make any sense.
Look at the writing.
And that doesn't make any sense either.
Look at the writing with -1. It was very good, and in fact, director Takahashi, he worked on many of the stuff of Godzilla.
Yeah, they even said he was...
that Godzilla segment in It's Always Sunset.
Yeah, he did. I remember. Who doesn't know those two segments, especially the Always Sunset bit, where he uses the 98 roar, by the way. Like, any Godzilla fan would point out that he straight up...
you can tell...
He took the 98 roar from YouTube.
Takahashi was a big fan of it, including even ironically, I'm going to say this, Gareth Edwards, he's a fan of it. Michael Dougherty, he's a fan of it.
Oh, Michael Dougherty is
Michael
Dougherty. Oh my God, he straight up in an interview, Michael Dougherty straight up said that he was such a fan of Godzilla that he drew Godzilla in a Bible. And actually showed a picture of it. He actually showed a picture of it.
And even the director that I just literally, Adam Winbag even said that he's a fan of the older Godzilla movies as well, like the Showa era, including one of my favorites, Godzilla vs. Hedorah.
And doesn't it not clearly show with how over the top his two MonsterVerse movies are? Like, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Like literally, I swear to Christ, every time I look at GVK and I see the TV spots for GXK, Michael Dougherty is I swear to God, I keep thinking Adam Wingard had to have worked for TOHO. I know he hasn't, but I swear to God, he had to have been a TOHO employee at some point.
Well, he had to work closely with TOHO, with Godzilla vs. Kong, I believe.
I think every director I think Michael Dougherty did too, actually. I think he had to work with TOHO for King of the Monsters, but man, Adam Wingard clearly he's a fan of, I know the audience want monsters and a story, so I'm gonna give it to him. Tenfold!
Yeah, and saying Godzilla can be serious, and saying the American version of Godzilla, 1954 was basically even say what you want about the movie. They may have taken out the real messages and dark tones, but at least they didn't get rid of how Godzilla was created.
Yeah, the English version of 54, the original King of the Monsters. At least, though, they they did mention how the big dude was, how Goji was created and shit. But at least, if you were to, and then he says, how American Godzilla movies don't work. Has he not looked up the history of half the Showa era? Because half the Showa era in Japan didn't work either, because, man, theater and box office numbers dropped in half the Showa era,
And even
Good God,
even
man!
some of
Did
the
people
ones
not
that
like
I
those
really
movies?
enjoy, like Terror Mega Godzilla, it was a box office bomb, sadly,
It
and it was a real
was.
shame.
And then so was Biolante. Biolante was a huge disappointment when that movie came out.
And it's actually one of my favorites of the Heisei series as well.
Yeah, so it's like DS
In
keeps
fact,
on.
they lean heavy. Like they even lean heavier on man's temperament with the environment to basically like, should man actually engineer nature to what they want?
Yeah, that's the whole point of Biolante, and also it's the fact that I just love the fact. Trying to, again, just like how I explained Megaguirus, Biolante is just as ridiculous. Like, you literally have, okay, there's the whole thing about creating shit, but then at the same time, it's literally, it's a war.
Like, what is art?
No, it's not that. It's literally, Biolante, it does the dangers of genetic engineering, hence Biolante's poor existence in the first place. But then at the same time, you literally have genetic corporations shooting each other, and then there's just Godzilla in the middle of that. Yeah, he's just like as good as Biolante is. If you like, the movie forgets what genre it's in half the time, because some scenes it's like an action movie. It's like a friggin' action movie half the time. It's good, but there's points in it where it kind of like deviates from a Godzilla movie and becomes an 80s action movie. Especially the beginning. That music in the shootout scene at the very beginning of the movie is kind of like, did I put in the wrong movie? And you have to look at the cover like, this is Godzilla versus Biolante, right?
Godzilla can work everywhere, and then he brings up this weird thing. It's like, what is art into making a movie? And I'm like, shut the fuck up, and you don't know what the hell art is.
Oh yeah, his video clearly shows he doesn't even know what art is. Oh my god. The editing on that, editing on this video was just, and folks, I know we've been bullshitting for a while, but if he can get off topic and shit, then so can we. Damn it.
Yeah, it's like, he basically just says, what is art? And I'm like, dude, you basically are making a video, explain to us through AI generated stuff while you are editing this shit. It basically like, what is art? If, like, the MonsterVerse movies, like, even with some criticisms of mine, but except claiming Godzilla doesn't work in America, it is total shit.
Yeah, it is total shit. If Godzilla didn't work in the U.S., number one, if he didn't work in the U.S., fans wouldn't have major kaiju figure collections. The MonsterVerse wouldn't even exist. 98 wouldn't even exist.
As well as even many other Godzilla movies like Shin Godzilla and -1.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Godzilla wouldn't exist, period, if it didn't work globally.
Yeah,
if he didn't work globally,
would still be asleep after like Final Wars.
Yeah, exactly. Like Final Wars would have been that would have been it. He would have. Yeah, exactly. But folks, if I urge you, do not watch this. If you value your sanity, do not watch this. But because of me saying that, I said if you value your sanity, I said that.
Be sure. Yeah, but if you value your sanity from listening to other people like Doktor Skipper, who there are many of them, please be warned that they don't even know about Godzilla as much, and they just are grifters in the community.
Yeah, but the one thing I do got to bring up, though, is the fact that, you know, when it comes to kaiju fans, I've noticed that this load of bullshit is what brought the Godzilla community together. Have you, like, it had to take bullshit for that to happen? Like, really? It had to take bullshit? It had to take bullshit for people to get along? Like, really? It had to take bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if there's one thing we can thank, it's this dick sack bitch here.
Dick sack bitch. Oh my god.
I'm sorry, this guy is so bad.
The video is bad.
He doesn't know Godzilla. He doesn't care about Godzilla, and it's just, You should have just talking about -1 instead of giving us this whole half-hour bullshit. I'm talking about the entire Godzilla franchise to just shit on like why Godzilla -1 is better.
And then he pretended
pointless.
And then he pretended that 98 didn't even exist. Like he literally sat there and pretended that 98 didn't exist.
Like Godzilla 98, even though it's a failed attempt, it's still a Godzilla movie because it bears the title, sadly.
It bears the title, and they call him that in the movie, and the fact that they straight up use Godzilla's roar.
Yeah, but except he's just, his characteristics and all the designs, like, I can understand why people hate this, and understandably so, but except it's still an American attempt, albeit a failed attempt, but it's still a Godzilla movie, sadly, nonetheless.
Well, and then folks, if you wanna really see a piece of good Godzilla media with the with that design, go watch the animated sequel series that lasted for like 40 episodes, because in that show Godzilla breathes fire and he fights other giant monsters, which is what he's known for.
Like he acts more like Godzilla.
With the personality of a child, quite literally.
Yeah, like literally, even people who hated Godzilla in '98 very hard, they would even say the series is more decent and worth it because he does act like Godzilla and fights other monsters and other stuff like that.
Yeah, like where the '98 movie Godzilla behaved completely just like a lizard. I mean, they took the lizard thing very seriously in that movie, and then in the show, he actually develops a personality. Like throughout the course of the show, you'll notice that he actually you'll see things that he does or how he looks at stuff. He acts more
like Godzilla.
Well, it's just he actually starts developing a personality throughout the course of the show. Like you really start seeing Godzilla somewhat gets more of a character, like when they mentioned he gets smarter, or that episode when he started throwing temper tantrums like a kid, where he'll just randomly gets pissed off and starts breathing fire on everything. It's like that series did a lot better. It did. I will even admit, as a diehard well, not as diehard as a lot of people are, but as a lifelong Godzilla fan, yeah, the series did do a lot better. It's more than just keeping with the whole he fights other monsters and he actually uses atomic breath. You really got to look into the way Godzilla's utilized in the show. He's utilized.
Yeah, and as well as not only that, into the entire movies, where they have different plots, different concepts, as well as even different unique ways of showing his personality.
Well, except Godzilla versus Megalon doesn't have any message at all. Godzilla versus Megalon is let's just rip Ultraman off and be stupid.
Weirdly, it was about, to me, the impacting on the environment with those weird Ku Klux and belly dancer aliens in that underground.
They kind of mention it, but then as soon as Megalon showed up, the whole movie just got over the top and cartoony afterwards. I mean, Jaguar, anybody? like, come on.
He's still a remembered favorite. So, by the way, is there anything else you want to go on?
I honestly have nothing more after this, dude. I just want to be done with that fucking video, I swear to Christ. It's just...
Yeah, and as well as I just want to go to bed, because, like, what, it's 12:42?
Oh, shit. And we've been talking about this for literally nearly an hour. It's been 58 minutes of us talking about this shit.
Let's end this stuff right now, because
we gotta get away from this crap.
And after this, I'm gonna show my doc as well, and even hopefully post onto his video with the timestamps.
Yep. So, anyways, folks, we hope y'all enjoyed this literal rant, this literal critique / bullshit rant about Godzilla the right way. the literal right way here.
As well as even discussing the rant of Doktor Skip motherfucker here.
Anyways, please be sure to like, share, and please consider subscribing to not only my channel, but Kentucky Fried Guygan over here. The link to his channel.
Yeah, you'll be able to meet me from a channel, FaceSlayer202.
Yep, his channel, it'll be in the description below. And also come follow us on Instagram at FaceSlayer202 and Megalania2023. So this is Tim W. Rago and
FaceSlayer202,
all right,
signing off.
Peace out, everybody.